John, you're here at Tynecastle Day talking about your role as ambassador for the share scheme. It's a vital period in the club's history.
It's massive. You know, been approached about 3-4 weeks ago from David and Sergey about fronting the share issue, and told them at the time I was happy to do it under certain conditions, and the conditions were quite simple. I wanted to see the integrity, the honesty, and more importantly transparency of what was going to happen. You know, where was the money going? I've asked every question that all Hearts fans would ask: where it's going, how it's going to be used, how it's going to be utilised, and I was happy with the answers they came up with. So today we launched it last week at the Federation and told them just how grave the situation is. It was more of a launch for the mainline press today, and hopefully we can get the word round, and hopefully it can be a very, very successful share issue. If
you had a message to get out to the Hearts fans, what would it be in relation to the scheme?
It's quite simple. This is a call to arms for all Hearts fans. The club is in a grave situation. They're making strides, and huge strides, in getting the club back to a self-sustainable level, and that should arrive sometime at the start of next season. But in the meantime, there's a shortfall. This is not players' wages. This is just a general shortfall of stadium costs, the commercial costs, administration costs, maintenance of the pitch, electrical bills. Just normal utility bills that we all have to pay in our own life. So we need to get this done. If this share issue reaches the successful height that we're looking for, or close to it, then that will keep the club's head above water till the end of the season. And then again, when the new cuts come in and the big earning players' wages contracts are up, that will put us in a much healthier situation. It will become self-sustainable. Then the club will have back to where it was 7 years ago, and the wage bill will be far more easily covered, and Hearts will be able to run. We'll still have £22 million in debt, but that's another story. This is about getting the club to the end of the season.
When you see the number of fans that were out celebrating the cup win in May, the number we took to the actual final itself, the minimum packaging offer is £110. If everyone was to take that out,
well, that's the secret to it. That's the secret to it. I mean, you take it on the simplest terms first. If everyone at the cup final took the minimum amount of £110, we'd be oversubscribed by £700,000, which would be fantastic. But given the current recession and the way money is tight at the moment, then it's going to be a tough sell. But it's vital. We need all the Hearts fans now to stand up. We need them to come forward because the club is in a serious position. But it's a short term. The next 6 weeks determine the next 6 months, which ultimately could determine the next 6 years.
And I believe your son's already been on asking for his Christmas present.
His Christmas present. I think he was laughing and he was joking, but he was deadly serious. That he's at the age now where there's no point Dad buying him anything because it's the wrong thing, it's the wrong fashion, and it's not the right brand. So, but this year he's saying he could quite like the idea of getting shares. So it's great that he's even looked at the fact and thought, yeah, that'll do for me. And that's the attitude we're needing. As I say, I've been very fortunate. I was here for 18 years and there was no real problems financially paying the players. There's certainly always been rumblings in the background of the boardroom. My first day saw Paul Mercer and Kenny Watt go head to head with the battle for control, and it's been there ever since. And it's been problematic, and whether you like or dislike what Vladimir Romanov's done the last 7 years, it's been a hell of a roller coaster of times. We've seen some fabulous players play here, ultimately on money that we knew that the club couldn't afford, but the owner paid the wages and he's got there. But he's brought us back to where we started 7 years ago. We're back to the £22 million debt, but we need the share issue to be successful to see us through to the end of the season, and then Hearts will be back in self-sustainable on the players and wages side of things, and they'll move forward. It doesn't mean to say we're going to lose the players we've got. It just means that the guys who have negotiated big contracts over the last few years will have to take what the club can afford, and hopefully we can still retain those players, because outside the old firm, there's no doubt that the top half dozen players can still earn more at Hearts than they can anywhere else in the SPL.
I mentioned the Scottish Cup final there, and the Hearts kick off their defence of the trophy against another than our city rivals. It was a remarkable draw yesterday.
Yeah, it's just amazing. You couldn't really have picked it. As simple as that. Just the way things have gone, and I'm saying in general, out with the Hibs Hearts game, it's a fantastic draw. It's one of the best draws I've seen for a while because it's got a bit of everything. You've got the romance where Inverurie could potentially go to Celtic Park. Nairn County Highland League team could get Ayr United. Bonnyrigg Rose could go to St Mirren. And then you look at the shocks. You know, Livy will fancy a chance against Dundee. Queen of the South, I'm sure, will fancy a chance against Kilmarnock. You've got 3 SPL ties. You know, we thought when it came out that Aberdeen Motherwell would be the tie of the round, and it was quickly followed by Ross County versus Inverness, which is a fantastic tie. But then to top it all off, it's Hibs and Hearts, and that is the game. You know, for Hibs, you know, it's not a revenge game because you know it's too strong a word, and it won't make up for the defeat. But if Hibs fans will be there trying to put the record straight, so to speak, and rebalance some kind of regress from the cup final, and what an opportunity they've got at Easter Road. But you know, Hearts' record in the competition has been fantastic. Our record recently over our rivals in the Scottish Cup has been fantastic. So hopefully we can go down and get a victory and see us again go forward and defend the trophy.
It probably wasn't the draw that either manager wanted at this stage, but it's going to dominate the football scene for the next month.
I'll guarantee that when Pat Fenlon and John McGlynn were first told of the draw, there'd been a groan. They'd have both went, oh no, that's not what we wanted. And then there'd be the smile and the realisation of saying, well, we've got it. And now we've got it, let's embrace it and let's get ready for it when it comes along, because it is an absolute belter of a tie. And Hibs at this moment in time will be probably more happy with the draw than Hearts. You know, we've been a wee bit inconsistent, there's no doubt about that. You know, we've not been winning games perhaps that we should have been in, yet we've been picking up some great performances along the road. So, and you know, Hibs at home in particular been very, very strong. So they'll go at this moment in time into the tie favourites, but you know, Hearts just need to show that the quality that we possess. You know, a performance along the lines of Tannadice in a 3-0 league game would do nicely, because that should be enough to overcome Hibs, but it'll not be easy. And
John's mentioned already that he hopes the prospect of being involved in that cup tie will act as a catalyst for the players to step up to the mark in the next 4 or 5 games.
Well, you hope so, but again, that he shouldn't really have to say that. You know, the players should be wanting to play in every game, in the league game. You know, John's not got the biggest squad at the moment, and he's been moving people around to try and get the perfect blend. And some of the performances have been excellent without gaining the rewards that it merited. You know, we've had posts, we've missed chances, keepers have had good games. But you know, I'd be disappointed if I was a manager and the players were going to raise their game because there was a big cup tie against Hibs on the horizon. You know, when you pull on that maroon shirt, you should be right at it every game, want to keep your place every game, and the Hibs game should be a bonus for you. It should be just a little bit of icing on top of the cake of having to play for the club in the first place.
Next up, of course, is a trip to Inverness, a place you know very well, and both clubs close to your heart, no doubt.
Yes,
How do you see Saturday unfolding?
It's fantastic, and it's you know, it's great for me to welcome the Hearts fans up again, and it's a tough game. Trust me. Right now, I would suggest that Inverness are the form team in Scotland. I think the form's even better than Celtic at the moment. They're playing with a freedom that everybody thinks, oh, it's only Inverness, we can turn them over. They look at the team sheet and there's no standout names, and they think, well, you know, home and away we can go and have a go at this team and beat them. They're a good side, good unit. Their defence has started to look a bit stronger. They've got 2 absolute colossus in the middle of the park, and Draper and Tudor Jones, who are both about 6'4". But the key to them is their front 4. Their front 4 have been magnificent. The boy Mackay has pace to burn, going in behind. Foran on the left cuts in and plays. You've got the lad Thomas, who's on loan from Arsenal, cuts in. It's Robert, sorry, cuts in from the right. But the main man is Andrew Shinney. He has been an absolutely unbelievable form. He's a sort of younger Rudy Scatchell type. He's got this unique knack of finding spaces just outside the box, finding spaces inside the box, scoring goals, setting up goals. Real top quality player, and those front 4 have been hurting teams big style, and they're absolutely, as we know ourselves, they're flying with confidence. They've picked up 13 points from the last 15. They're really in a good place at the moment, and Hearts will have to be on their A game, because Inverness will come out the block. So it should be an absolutely stunning game of football. And you know, it's unfortunately for me, I'm in a position where I can't really lose. You know, I'd like Hearts to win, and I'm not too unhappy if Inverness win. And if it's a draw, I can live with that as well.
We'll get you off that fence eventually. Thanks, John.
No problem.